Last week, Governor Northam announced that on April 1st, group fitness will be able to have more students in each class. More students means more opportunities to connect with the best people in the world, people who do Bikram yoga. We'll get to that in a little bit, but first, some studio updates. On Saturday, April 3rd, we'll be hosting an hour-long in-studio and virtual posture clinic at 11:30. If you are participating in the hashtag 4in4 challenge, you are automatically registered for this event. We are canceling the 11:30 audio-only class and our advanced class that usually takes place in Falls Church at 12:30 to make room for us to be available to you for your live questions. If you can't make the event live, you can always access it later on our video library. Traffic and parking in Northern Virginia, Maryland, and DC has been historically difficult. But during the pandemic, that changed. In fact, I've heard from many people that they were not happy with what happened during the pandemic, but traffic and parking was not a terrible thing. That's going to be changing. Traffic and parking is going to come back. With these restrictions being eased, there is going to be more people in their cars, more cars on the road, and more people in parking spots. So make sure that you arrive early enough at a class to get a parking spot. Hi.
Oh, hello.
Oh my God, hi.
Hello, how are you?
I miss you.
Oh, that's sweet. I miss you too. You are far away across the country.
And
What's going on?
I came here to spend a little time with my son before he deploys.
Aren't you seeing your daughter as well?
If she can come down, she's hoping to drive down with her boyfriend. Does that look okay?
Come on. I think
Now you're going to see this scar.
I can't even see it.
But you saw it for the first time, and we've known each other for almost 8 years.
Wait, can you get a little closer?
Yeah.
Where is it? Right there?
Yeah.
What happened with that? What happened with that?
I fell in my kitchen when I was 4 and hit it on the refrigerator, the bottom of the refrigerator.
Ouch.
I remember that my dad told me that if I because I was fine, I was crying, it was split like straight down, right? And they were holding it shut, blood was going into my eyes and into my face, but I was fine. And my dad said, "You are such a brave little girl, Jennifer.
Aww.
But if you scream bloody murder, I will take you to Dairy Queen after, because then we'll get seen fast, the emergency room." So he looked at me as we were about to walk to the ER, and he was like, "Okay, Jen, turn it on." And I just screamed and screamed and screamed. So I think that was the beginning of my performance career.
As an entertainer. So we're considered entertainment running yoga studios. Yeah. Isn't that crazy? We're entertainment.
I know sometimes when I'm on the podium, I know that my energy, my ability to entertain is what the students need though, sometimes.
But like the drop-down menus, right? In like applying for applications of things that you apply for.
Insurance.
It's insurance drop downs is like, what are you? Are you physical therapy?
Right.
Are you a salon/spa? Are you a food industry? Right? You know, they break all these things down. Nowhere on there for most applications is officially like yoga studio, like or group fitness. We're considered entertainment.
We're considered entertainment. I think it is crazy that we're considered entertainment because there's sort of something negative associated with being entertainment, but we need entertainment.
Oh, not for me.
For our
I went to musical theater school. Like I totally relate to being a yoga teacher because you do have to get up there and be entertaining. Like I get it. But the fact that we are not supported in a drop down as like what holistic health? What would the word be? What? Are you there? Jen? Hello? Jennifer? So I'm just going to sit here and wait for Jennifer to get back and pretend that this is my show. Gosh, my place is a mess. Oh.
I like your show.
The wonderful world of technical difficulties.
I love it.
What were we talking about? What's the word? What word would we be? Total holistic health?
Yeah, we would be.
Or
and what does that mean? Entertainment, eating right, sleeping, taking care of your body, taking care of your teeth, dental.
Uh-huh.
Bikram says smiling, happy face.
He does. I love how you always bring it back to yoga, because after all, we are here because of yoga.
That's what we do.
Yoga is everything. We have a big announcement to make about reopening more spaces.
We sure do. On April 1st, no fooling, we are allowed to have 18 people in the room, including the teacher.
Yay!
Yay!
It's happening. And
so exciting.
Other places across the country are opening up as well. In New York City, they're allowed to go back to having in-studio classes, even though they'll be very small at first.
But they're open.
They're open. We've seen other places that opened before us, places in Texas that opened up bigger before us. We've been following them. So we're watching other studios across the country and wondering if there's anything we should be doing differently than them.
Sure. Because we're watching it all happen. You know, what's interesting is that I was in Texas in September of 2020, and it was sort of like a free-for-all. People were going anywhere they wanted. Parking lots were full. We tried to go to Walmart, but it was packed, and there were a lot of people who weren't wearing masks. Mm-hmm. So my son and I decided not to go in. I went to Walmart yesterday. They have a police officer making sure that you're wearing a mask when you go in.
What?
Yes.
The same Walmart?
The same Walmart.
In El Paso, right?
Yes, in El Paso, Texas.
Oh.
Armed guard.
Oh, they got serious.
They got serious.
So wait, this political thing that's been the news since the pandemic hit. You're telling me that Texas, one of the pew pew, anything goes, less government state, is projecting this idea of pew pew, but yet there's armed guards out in front of Walmart?
Yes. There was an armed guard out front of Walmart making sure I had on my mask.
Wow. Talk about confusion in the age of disinformation.
That's right. It made me think of something that Freud says.
What?
Which is, well, Freud talks about, you know, asserting yourself when you present yourself as someone that others don't know. And he says, you know, you got to come in strong so that you can ease off. Because if you come in weak, not necessarily weak, but like really approachable and open, then when you realize that people need a firm hand, it's harder. It's harder to assert yourself.
Jennifer, are you calling me weak?
No, Michael, you're firm.
No, I'm not.
You are too.
No, I try to be likable.
Well, I don't know. I think you're like, if you don't like me.
Hashtag likable Michael.
Well, awesome. Actually, Michael, you're allowed to make mistakes in life. It's just that, I mean, goodness gracious. Freud's idea was that if you're going to be a leader or a teacher or something, don't come in and be like, I want everyone to like me, because about a minute later, you're going to realize that not everybody's going to like you, and you're going to have to assert a firm hand, and the people will be confused. So it made me think about that. Like when the quarantine hit and some states closed, most states closed, but when everyone started to reopen, the states that were like liberty and, you know, you can't infringe on my civil liberties. Now they're like, I guess we have to infringe on your civil liberties, but it's almost to the extreme.
It's just such confusion. And it's just, did we even need to be here, you know, in this place? I don't know. We got taken for a roller coaster ride.
We did, but I do feel like we came back in June last year with an open heart and an open mind. And we embraced the restrictions for what they were, and we helped people see them. I always feel so glad that I never got that temperature thing.
Oh, we said no to that right away.
I said no to that right away.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it felt aggressive.
that people said, well, you said it was aggressive, like having like a gun thing pointed to your head and like that. Yeah, it does feel that way.
I thought so.
But also they're not accurate. I have a friend who went to go to a doctor's appointment.
Right.
And she got her temperature read at a higher temperature because she had been in the car or she was running around. Maybe she was a little stressed. And they turned her away and said they couldn't admit her or let her see the doctor. And it turns out she checked her temperature later in the day. She didn't have a fever and she stressed out and went and got a COVID test and everything. I mean, she didn't have it. She didn't have COVID. It's better to be safe than sorry. I get
Agreed.
it. But
Agreed.
that little gun thing, that little temperature reader thing, I wouldn't trust it. I wouldn't trust it. I would just keep your mask on, stay 10 feet apart when exercising, right? Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. And
limit the amount of places you go. You're not going all over the place, seeing all kinds of people. You're keeping your stuff limited. It's great to see people. That's fine. It's just that you have to build back up to trust.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, also, I mean, you're in Texas right now.
I know at first.
At the beginning of the pandemic.
I have learned how to keep my distance, wash my hands.
You knew how to do all that stuff before.
Thanks, Michael. I appreciate
you were always
the
a role model of you were always a role model of gosh, what am I trying to say? Cleanliness and just like you know, I think one time I left the water running while I was either doing dishes at your place or brushing my teeth somewhere and you were close by. And I feel like we're looking at the water like, are you going to turn that off? Like while you're brushing your teeth?
Cheers. I love it.
Cheers. Okay. So we have double the amount of spaces.
Amazing.
At the Alexandria location.
Like one less than double. We used to, under the old restrictions, under the restrictions that we're under right now, you can have 9 students in the room and a teacher. Now we'll be able to have 17 students and a teacher.
Well, there we go.
And keep 10 feet apart.
Keep 10 feet apart, 10 feet. And we have to leave one space available that we won't allow people to book online.
So 16 students can book, but the 17th student would be our Karma Yogi, which we need desperately for every class, especially now that we're going to be almost doubling the amount of people that are in the room. So that Karma Yogi's job just got, you know, so much harder. Remind me to have a pizza party for them.
So the Karma Yogi program is a volunteer program for the studio. You come in, you clean half hour before the class, you wipe down the shelving, you make sure the laundry is running, you disinfect all the touchable areas, you take class, the 90-minute Bikram yoga class, and then after the class, you help the teacher clean up as well, and stay for about a half hour after. And for that, you have a couple scheduled shifts a week that you always make every single week. So that's the Karma Yogi program. So we're looking for people to volunteer their time to help the studio keep going. And we need them. We absolutely need them. So.
And the Karma Yogis get extra attention from the teachers.
They do. Oh, yes. Lots of attention. They get extra corrections. They get to hang out with the teachers behind the scenes. Maybe one day they'll want to be a teacher themselves. I started as a Karma Yogi in New York City.
That's amazing.
And I moved up from being a Karma Yogi. Did I talk about that on the last Talk About It I was on?
You've talked about it before, for sure. Remember I was like, I wished I could be a Karma Yogi because I could only spend the exact amount of time that I had to be in the studio. But I used to look at the Karma Yogis thinking, gosh, how nice it must be to have extra time at the studio where you're working in silence sometimes, just quiet work. And I admired it. And our Karma Yogis are lovely. They're
wonderful people, and they're dedicated. They're a really good crew. Really good crew.
Amazing. And it's because they practice.
That's the thing. speaking of practicing, it's been a few days since I've been in that room. I need to get back in there. Now with the open spaces, it'll be a lot easier for me to take classes. I'll be able to jump in. What's that?
Zero excuses.
Zero excuses, right? And that's for everybody out there too, listening. We've got plenty of space now. We want the studio to keep growing. So please, please, please book your next class now. We open reservations 4 days in advance.
At midnight.
At midnight. At midnight.
At midnight.
There's usually space available at the Falls Church location in the mornings. Is that right?
There's usually space available in the mornings, but now that we're opening up the classes, now that we're opening it up, that we have more spaces, more mats can be on the floor, I believe that people are going to be able to get into class, at least now. I'm sure momentum will build and there will be a wait list again, but that'll sort of build up towards maybe when restrictions are fully lifted. So.
Yeah. This is great. This is
Falls
very
Church,
good
we're
stuff.
only able to add a few more spaces.
Yeah.
3 or 4 more spaces.
It's a smaller space. Yeah.
It's a smaller space.
But that space is more humid.
Hotter.
It feels hotter, even though the temperature's still the same. It's the humidity.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
Yeah, it is nice.
And the humidity is going to go up with double the bodies.
With double the bodies, lots of airflow, even though there's more bodies in the room. Both locations have plenty of air, moving things constantly. The air is exchanged many times throughout the class, more than any other traditional, just regular HVAC system in a restaurant or your home. It definitely pulls the air pretty frequently. So, and then the air gets heated through the furnace, right?
180 degrees.
180 degrees. So it singes the air before it pumps it back out into the air ducts, right? That within the air ducts, there are UV lights.
That burn off viruses and
mold.
Mold.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So pretty cool technology that we have.
It's an incredible system.
To keep people safe. But if people don't feel I feel like Mark Rober right now. Wasn't that like a Mark Rober thing?
I was. But
I love Mark Rober.
He's so cute.
He's such a cutie. Oh my God.
I love him.
Just so smart and I love it.
We should post it. We should post the link to Mark Rober's Squirrels video.
Oh, the squirrel video. Yeah. Let's do that.
Yeah,
That's so cute. I love that. Okay. Look in the link below for the squirrel video. Or above.
They're total yogi acrobats.
They're so fun. That video is so cool.
I am in love with squirrels because of Mark and because of that video.
I have a new appreciation for them for sure.
Mm-hmm.
What was I saying before? Oh, yeah. Spaces in the class will have, there'll be increased amount of people in the room, an increased amount, but we're still going to keep classes on the schedule with less people in them, right?
That's right.
Yes. So those are the audio recorded classes where you still get to take a Bikram yoga class, but there will only be 10 people in the room. Is that right? The number?
10 people in the room.
At the Alexandria location, right?
We only offer those at the Alexandria location. In Falls Church, we offer an audio class, which is live. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So you'll have almost always during those classes, you have a teacher in the room with you. Not always, because staffing is an issue. Guys, it is not easy to hire and to keep wonderful employees. This is a job and a half. And we have
look at
the
how
best
much
employees, but we don't have enough.
It's true. We've had to we've all learned these new skills.
Yeah, we have.
Yoga teachers have had to learn entertainment skills. Broadcasting skills in order to stay open. And I'm so grateful for the community that we have. We have Lisbeth, Bethel, Hannah, Felicia, Adrian, Manolo. Mm-hmm. These teachers are our hearts. We absolutely love them. And while Jen and I are running around like crazy, they're running around like crazy too, trying to balance multiple jobs. Because
troubleshooting.
It's just so challenging what we've gone through this year. And now we're coming out on the other side of it.
Very interesting. During this time, I decided to read Shakespeare. Love Shakespeare.
You're such what? What?
I love Shakespeare.
You are what? You are are you a literary nerd?
Nerd, I guess.
Are you a geek? What is that? A nerd or a geek or?
I just think I'm sort of like everything. You can't put your finger on me.
How many people?
What is she?
How many? You can't do that with you for sure. But how many people? Show of hands out there, Facebook land. How many of you read Shakespeare by your bedside at night? I mean, how many?
I hope a lot of you. It's beautiful. But you know what I never read when I read Shakespeare? You can't find a publication of any Shakespeare work that doesn't start with like, notes from the editor. And this is some PhD who studied Shakespeare, and I, do not discount their years of analytics and studying, but usually I'm like, wah, wah, wah. Who wants to read what that blowhard has to say? This time I was reading Macbeth, but before I read Macbeth, I decided to read the intro. And the author said that the Globe Theater was shut down multiple times because of the plague, and actors were put out of work. And that was when he wrote Venus and Adonis, which I read right before the pandemic. How funny, right?
Just amazing. You just read Shakespeare for funsies. Hey, but look, I read cookbooks. Well, I'm an actor, but I read cookbooks for funsies. I got like 3 cookbooks by my bedside, and there's a pile right here on the floor behind me. I don't know if you can tell. My apartment is such a mess, by the way. Oh my God.
I'm in a hotel.
I need like self-care day. But like these pile of books right here, those are all cookbooks and cook magazines.
Love it.
And that shelf right there is all cookbooks and magazines.
But we just started watching Alison Roman.
Oh, I love Alison Roman.
her. I mean,
oh my goodness.
Cooking is so entertaining.
It is. And she makes it very entertaining to watch.
She does.
Okay. So I love how Alison Roman puts whole onions, or like we'll slice an onion out. And then put the whole onion with the skin on in the recipe. She won't peel the skin if she's going to be like straining the onion out or taking it out. Because there's no point. And it adds color. It adds a beautiful tone.
I love that she does that. I just love her.
I love her too. You know what else she does?
What?
She leaves the little woody ends of the garlic pod on.
Yum.
She doesn't like take the little knife and slice off the little hard end. She leaves it on because she says it's going to cook down. She's like, who cares?
It cooks into the flavor.
She has made cooking easier for me and way more enjoyable with little tips like that. So
she's made me want to cook things I don't even want to eat.
Like what?
I don't know. I think I watched her cook those ribs, even though I think meat is fine. Sometimes it gets a little heavy, like the way she's cooking all of this heavy food, oils, and I'm just looking at that thinking, I want to make that, and then maybe I want to eat it.
She is a high-fat cook. She has a lot of fat in her cooking.
She loves her food, and she unabashedly eats it too.
Yes.
So I really appreciate that.
Well, she inspires me to do that too. So, but I have gained a couple lbs during COVID. I've got some more lbs. Actually, let's be real. I had some lbs before COVID. I was actually a little bit heavier pre-COVID, and then when the pandemic hit, I went and got my cholesterol taken, and it was not good. My triglycerides were really high too. I think I was binging on food. So I had to cut back. So COVID actually helped me. I'm one of those weird people where COVID actually helped me kind of get more in check with myself. You know what? Here's the thing. Here's the thing I'm working on right now. I have to cook every day.
Yeah.
I have to cook something. I have to spend a good hour and a half in the kitchen every day. I know some of the moms out there are like, yeah, big deal. I spend like 3 hours in the kitchen. But, moms and dads too. Sorry, I didn't mean to leave the dads out.
No, dads too.
Dads too. But I spend a good hour and a half every day. If I do that, I'm going to have more food options to eat from home. I'm going to eat healthier because automatically eating from home is a lot healthier than ordering out all the time, automatically.
Yeah.
And I'm not talking like boxed stuff. I'm not saying when I eat from home, I'm eating, crackers. I have to avoid stuff in the store. Like if I walk by the cracker aisle in the store, I think about, I'm like, I want those Cheez-Its, or I want those Oreos or whatever. I have to go, no, don't do it. Because if it's in my house, I will eat it. The other thing I'm doing to help lose weight is I'm drinking a lot more water.
Oh,
I'm
nice.
drinking 2 to 3 liters of water a day. And that's been helping to curb my appetite to where I feel satiated,
Sated, maybe.
Sated. All right, Miss Shakespeare, throwing out some language there, some Shakespeare language.
Look it up.
I know what sated means. Maybe I don't. Let me look it up. But drinking more water, cooking every day. And here's the truth. You have to go to the grocery store a few times a week. You just have to. You do. If you want to have a robust home cooking practice, eating everything that you make, most things that you make, you're at the grocery store at least a few times a week.
That's right. You are. But think about that, because the stuff that's going into your body, when you go shopping a few times a week, the stuff that's in your body is not only fresh because you just got it. It's fresh because you just got it, right? It's also fresh in your mind because you're just thinking about it. So I think that we maybe even as a society could stand to think about food as a less ahead of time stuff. I'm doing all of this stuff ahead of time. And but while simultaneously feeling that like there's a lot of meditation that goes into food prep.
Oh, it's so meditative.
There's a lot of meditation that goes into food prep.
Oh, I love it. Some people say they love like folding towels. Some people say they love vacuuming maybe or dusting. The chore that I love to do, I love to like organize my pantries. I love to like go in the fridge and pull out the old stuff and replace it with new stuff. And then, the actual, process of cooking where like you slice into an onion or you're putting things in the little compartments, organizing. I think what I really love is taking chaos and an idea and funneling it to transmute it, to change it, like an alchemist. Right?
Yeah, of course.
To transmute it and enjoy the results. I think I just like telling stories about my life every day, Jen.
I think you should. I do.
I think that's what's so meditative and meditative or meditative.
I like meditative.
Do you like meditative?
I do.
Okay, we're gonna go with meditative.
It's a little bit more onomatopoetic.
Onomatopoetic. Isn't onomatopoeia like when you spell out the word of a sound?
Like buzz, a word that sounds like the action. But like, when you say meditative, it sounds like you're creating a metronome sound in your head.
Oh, meditative. Hey, Jen.
Yeah.
We have a virtual and in-studio posture clinic coming up on April 3rd. That's this weekend, isn't it?
I know. And because it happens after the restrictions have been eased, we're going to be able to have double the amount of people in the hot room.
So finally, we can be in person doing a socially distanced workshop.
Right.
And it's been a year since I think our studio has done
over a year.
Over a year. And who was the last person? Diane Discharme?
Diane Discharme.
Diane Discharme in Boston.
That's right.
Oh, the people can check out our studio. We'll link it. You want to link it above or
below?
below?
Yes, let's link it.
Okay,
up
good.
And down.
Up and down. Because YouTube? No. Yeah, YouTube. No, wait. YouTube
is down.
Facebook.
And Facebook is up.
Okay, gotcha.
So if you're ever wondering when we say, check out the link above or below, we're saying above for Facebook, below for YouTube.
Because here's a hot tip, everybody. You can film one video and use it for multiple platforms.
Yay!
What?
And some people don't like Facebook.
No, they don't. They don't want to log in. Whenever they see a button to take me to Facebook, they go, and they want to go to YouTube.
Remember the discussion we had about Facebook with Carol Ann's husband?
Oh, he was wonderful.
He was.
He was the owner of Hotspot DuPont, which sadly closed. And we are very grateful to be in contact with some of their students in DC. We got to go say goodbye to the studio right before they shut down.
Carol Ann's husband introduced us to a new word when he was discussing Facebook.
Wait, not a new word, but
Like he reintroduced a word to us that had not been a part of our regular vocabulary. Probably for 10 years for me.
Yeah. I hadn't used that word in a while. And the word was
vitriol.
Vitriol.
Which we associate with Facebook.
Right, which is just harsh criticism of just shouting, just like
hate from the cheat seats. And it reminds me of Brene Brown, and what she says is, don't say, I don't give a SHIT what anybody thinks. You say, just don't give an S what most people think.
Right.
So, being in the arena of battle, and it's easy to throw mud from the cheap seats. It's a lot harder to actually step into the arena and get mud slung at you from someone else who's in the arena. However, if you have something to say about me, if you are not in the arena, I do not care what you think.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you are in the arena with me at least once in a while, duking it out, then best that you share your opinion elsewhere, or at least know that when you share your opinion with me, it doesn't carry the same weight as someone who bravely steps into the arena of battle and wields, whatever instrument it is they have for whatever purpose they're there for. For us, it's to save the yoga studios.
Yeah.
To keep Bikram yoga alive.
Yeah.
So, and I do a lot of exercises. I don't just do Bikram yoga. Mostly I do Bikram yoga because I want my body to feel healthy and clean and safe and, can carry me into my 90s, up the stairs, down the stairs. But I love exercise. I love developing my muscles. At the end of the day, I want to be able to sleep. I want my muscles to be able to relax and to sleep. And that is because of my Bikram yoga practice, because I take care of my body inside out, bones to skin. Not necessarily because I work super hard to get a rockin' handstand. That's fun, but
you're able to do that because of yoga.
I'm able to do that because of my yoga practice.
Right.
Yes. What other mother of five?
Read Shakespeare, practices Bikram yoga.
What? It's because of Bikram yoga.
Yeah.
It's because of my 90-minute practice that I have access to more neurotransmitter communication.
Oh, you're an elevated human being. I see.
Bikram even says that. He's like, you wake up the dead meat in the cold storage. Most of your brain cells you're not using, or you're overusing.
Or underusing, yeah.
Or you're underusing. And who knows how many brain cells I'm accessing, but it's because of my practice that I can carry on a decent conversation about just about anything.
That is true. One day I hope I can evolve and to be like you, Jennifer.
Oh my gosh, Michael, you're my favorite.
Well, thank you so much, Jen. This has been a lot of fun. Letting people in on our early week check-in. This is the kind of conversations that we have before we start, hitting the pavement and doing the work. We don't sit around and drink coffee all day long, but we do try to kick off the day like that. So what was this? Call me?
No, yeah. What we're like drinking coffee on the phone, typing,
all at the same time. Flossing our teeth, doing our laundry.
We have a wonderfully busy week.
Cleaning our apartments.
This has been so great. I am so happy that because of technology, we're able to do this when I'm in Texas and you're in Virginia.
Yes.
And I know. And I'm so excited that no fooling, April 1st, we are going to be able to have more mats on the floor and hopefully more bodies on the mats. Starting every single class, every single day. I can't wait to see you guys.
Book now, book today. And check out the other links, the fun links we posted. Alison Roman, Mark Rober.
Right.
Diane Discharme studio.
She's amazing.
We've got lots of fun links for you to check out this week.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys.
Okay. Bye.
See you next time. Bye.